I remember the day the sky went dark. It wasn't a natural eclipse or an unexpected storm. It was something far more sinister. Enormous Canid spacecraft, sleek and otherworldly, blotted out the sun, their presence casting a cold shadow over our world. As a scientist, I'd always believed humanity would one day encounter extraterrestrial life, but I never imagined it would be like this, an invasion so swift and calculated, it left us reeling. I stood on the rooftop of my lab, my heart pounding as I watched the alien vessels deploy drones and foot soldiers. The drones, efficient and ruthless, buzzed through the air like mechanical wasps, their purpose clear: incapacitate human defenses. Our military responded with everything they had: missiles, fighter jets, and ground troops, but it was futile. The Canids' technology outstripped ours by light years. Within hours, our defenses crumbled, leaving us vulnerable and exposed. The Canid broadcast their message across all media. Every screen flickered to life with the same cold, calculated words. "We are the Canid. We have come to domesticate humanity for its own good. Resistance is futile." Their voices were emotionless, devoid of any empathy or understanding. It wasn't a negotiation or a plea for peace. It was a declaration of dominance. As a scientist, I had always sought to understand the unknown, to unravel the mysteries of the universe. But standing there, watching the sky fill with Canid ships, I felt a profound sense of dread. The world I knew was gone, replaced by this terrifying new reality. The Canid wasted no time establishing control. They constructed vast domes over major cities, their advanced technology creating impenetrable barriers that separated us from the outside world. Inside these domes, they set up facilities where humans were enhanced and trained. I saw firsthand the transformation process, people emerging with heightened senses and physical abilities, but their eyes vacant, their spirits broken. It was clear that these enhancements came with a heavy price: submission to the Canid's will. I couldn't just stand by and watch as my fellow humans were turned into subservient pets. I had to do something. My resolve hardened as I witnessed the subjugation of humanity. I was Dr. Mira Stone, a renowned scientist, and I knew I had the knowledge and resources to make a difference. I had to find a way to reverse the Canid's technology and restore our autonomy. I began by collecting hidden scientific equipment from my former lab. The Canid had ransacked most facilities, but I had always been cautious, keeping my most valuable tools and research well hidden. It took days of careful planning and stealth, but I managed to relocate everything to an underground bunker I had prepared for such emergencies. The bunker became my sanctuary, a place where I could work without fear of immediate discovery. But I knew I couldn't do this alone. I needed others who were just as determined to resist the Canid's regime. Using encrypted signals, I reached out to those I trusted, inviting them to join me in this underground fight. As the days passed, more and more dissidents found their way to my bunker. We were a motley crew of scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens, united by a common goal: to reclaim our freedom. The lab buzzed with activity as we conducted reconnaissance missions, gathering intel on the Canid's technology and operations. The tension was palpable. Every mission was a risk, every raid a gamble. We had to stay hidden from the Canid enforcers and their human collaborators, who had betrayed their own kind for a semblance of power and safety. The constant threat of discovery loomed over us, but it only fueled our determination. We couldn't let fear dictate our actions. One night, as we gathered around the holographic map of the city, planning our next move, I felt a surge of hope. We were making progress, slowly but surely. We had identified key facilities and mapped out their security protocols. Each successful mission brought us closer to understanding the Canid's technology and finding a way to reverse it. "Liam," I called out, pointing to a location on the map. "What's the status of the West Dome?" Liam, a young and talented athlete who had reluctantly accepted the Canid's enhancements, looked up from his terminal. His enhanced vision allowed him to spot details the rest of us couldn't. "Security is tight, but there's a weak point near the northern entrance. We might be able to exploit it during the shift change. I nodded, appreciating Liam's contributions. Despite his internal conflict, he had proven invaluable to our efforts. Good. We'll focus on that. We need to gather more data on their enhancement process. If we can understand how it works, we might find a way to reverse it. As we continued to plan, I couldn't help but feel a flicker of optimism. We were up against a formidable enemy, but we had something they lacked: the human spirit. Our desire for freedom and autonomy drove us, fueled our determination to resist. The Canid might have superior technology, but we had the will to fight. We executed our raids with precision and caution, each mission bringing us closer to our goal. The nights were long and the risks great, but the camaraderie and shared purpose kept us going. We were more than just a resistance. We were a beacon of hope for humanity. One evening, as I worked late in the lab, I received an encrypted message from a new recruit. They had information on a potential vulnerability in the Canid's control system. It was a long shot, but it could be the breakthrough we needed. Gathering the team, I shared the news. We've got a lead. It might be our chance to strike a significant blow to the Canid's control. Are we in? A chorus of determined nods and affirmations met my question. We were all in, ready to risk everything for our freedom. The night of the mission was tense. We moved through the shadows, avoiding patrols and surveillance drones. Liam led the way, his enhanced senses guiding us safely to the target. The vulnerability was there, just as the new recruit had indicated. With careful precision, we planted the devices that would allow us to hack into the Canid systems. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as we waited for the signal. Finally, the devices activated, and our access was granted. We worked quickly, downloading as much data as we could. Every second felt like an eternity, the fear of discovery gnawing at us. But we couldn't afford to falter. This was our chance to gain the upper hand. As the data transfer completed, we heard the distant sound of approaching Canid forces. Our time was up. "Move now!" I shouted, leading the team out of the facility. We fled into the night, adrenaline pumping through our veins. Back at the bunker, we analyzed the data, uncovering critical information about the Canid's enhancement process. It was a significant breakthrough, one that brought us a step closer to our goal. But the road ahead was still long and perilous. The Canid would not give up their control easily, and we had to be prepared for the battles to come. As I looked around at my team, I knew we were ready. We were fighting for our future, for our humanity, and we would not stop until we had reclaimed our world. With renewed determination, we continued our work, knowing that every action, every risk, brought us closer to victory. The Canid might have invaded our skies, but they could never conquer our spirit. Baxter stood atop a platform, his eyes sweeping over the gathered crowd of enhanced humans. The Canid leader exuded confidence, his presence commanding attention. We watched from the shadows, my heart pounding as I saw the throng of people who had embraced the Canid's so-called gifts. Their eyes gleamed with a mix of awe and loyalty, a stark contrast to the wary, defiant gazes of those in the resistance. "Humanity has always strived for greatness," Baxter began, his voice amplified by unseen technology. "We have simply provided the means to achieve it. Your enhanced senses and abilities are not just improvements. They are the next step in your evolution. Together, we are forging a brighter future." His words were smooth, persuasive. Baxter genuinely believed in his mission, and it showed. He spoke of unity, progress, and a harmonious future where humans and Canid coexisted as equals. But beneath his charismatic exterior lay the undeniable reality of subjugation. The enhancements came at a cost: obedience, submission, and the loss of free will. "We are here to guide you, to help you reach your full potential," Baxter continued, his gaze sweeping the crowd. "Embrace these changes and you will find a new world of possibilities open to you." I clenched my fists, anger simmering beneath the surface. Baxter's vision was a twisted parody of progress, one that stripped away the essence of humanity. As I turned to leave, I caught sight of Liam, standing near the front of the crowd. His posture was rigid, his enhanced senses no doubt picking up every nuance of Baxter's speech. I wondered if he could see through the facade. Liam's transformation had been dramatic. The enhancement process had amplified his physical abilities, turning him into a force to be reckoned with. He excelled in the trials, his every move precise and powerful. The exhilaration he felt was palpable, his newfound abilities intoxicating. Yet, amidst the euphoria, I saw the flicker of doubt in his eyes. It was during a routine scouting mission that Liam's path intersected with ours. We were preparing for our first major raid on a Canid supply depot, the tension in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. As we moved through the shadows, Liam emerged from the darkness, his enhanced vision locking onto us. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice low but tinged with curiosity. "Liam," I replied, keeping my tone calm. "We're gathering intel, trying to find a way to reverse the enhancements. You should join us." He hesitated, the internal conflict evident in his eyes. "I can't. Not yet." Before I could press further, he melted back into the shadows, leaving me to wonder how long he could straddle both worlds. The raid on the supply depot was fraught with danger. We moved swiftly, our every step calculated to avoid detection. The Canid security measures were formidable, but our resolve was stronger. We needed their technology, and we needed it now. As we breached the depot, the hum of alien machinery filled the air. The team worked with practiced efficiency, gathering equipment and data while I kept an eye on the perimeter. The threat of discovery loomed large, every creak and shadow a potential harbinger of doom. "Let's move," I whispered urgently, signaling for the team to retreat. We slipped back into the night, our hearts racing with the thrill of success and the fear of pursuit. Our victory was short-lived. The raid had not gone unnoticed. Baxter's attention shifted to us, the resistance now a blip on his radar. We had become a threat, and threats were not tolerated. Back at the bunker, we pored over the stolen data, every byte a potential key to our salvation. Mira's mind worked tirelessly, deciphering the intricate codes and alien symbols. It was exhausting, but the glimmer of hope kept us going. "Got it!" Mira exclaimed one night, her eyes bright with excitement. "I think I've cracked it." We gathered around as she explained the prototype she had developed. It was a device designed to reverse the enhancements, to restore humanity to its original state. We chose a volunteer, a young man who had been one of the first to join our cause. The process was tense, every second stretching into an eternity. Finally, the device powered down, and the volunteer opened his eyes. The enhancements were gone, his senses and abilities returned to normal. The room erupted in cheers, the victory a beacon of hope in our struggle. "This is just the beginning," Mira said, her voice filled with determination. "We have the means to fight back now. Our next target is one of the main Canid domes." The excitement was infectious, but the reality of our situation was never far from my mind. We had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Baxter's grip on our world was tightening, and the path ahead was fraught with danger. As we prepared for our next mission, I couldn't shake the image of Liam from my mind. His internal struggle mirrored our own, a fight between the lure of power and the desire for freedom. In the end, I knew our fates were intertwined. To reclaim our world, we would need every ally we could find, even those who walked the line between two worlds. Our preparations were meticulous. Every detail, every contingency, was planned with precision. We knew the risks, but we also knew the stakes. The Canid had taken our freedom, our humanity, and we were determined to take it back. The night before the mission, I stood outside the bunker, looking up at the stars. The Canid's ship still loomed in the sky, a constant reminder of their dominance. But beneath that oppressive presence, I felt a spark of hope. We were fighting for our future, for a world where humanity could thrive without the shadow of subjugation. Ready for this? Mira's voice broke through my thoughts. I turned to see her standing beside me, her expression resolute. As ready as I'll ever be. She nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. We'll make it. Together. As dawn approached, we moved out, our hearts steeled for the battle ahead. The Canid's dome loomed large, its sleek surface reflecting the first light of day. This was it. The moment of truth. We slipped past the outer defenses, our movements synchronized and silent. Inside the dome, the atmosphere was tense, the air thick with anticipation. We moved quickly, each of us knowing our roles, our purpose. When we reached the central control room, I felt a surge of adrenaline. This was it, the heart of the Canid's operations. As Mira set up the prototype, I kept watch, every sense on high alert. Almost there, she muttered, her fingers flying over the controls. Suddenly the door burst open, and Canid soldiers flooded in. Chaos erupted, the room filled with the sounds of battle. I fought with everything I had, my focus unwavering. We couldn't fail. Not now. In the midst of the fight, I saw Liam. His eyes met mine, and in that moment, I saw the decision he had made. With a roar, he joined the fray, his enhanced abilities turning the tide in our favor. Mira, now! I shouted, covering her as she activated the device. A pulse of energy filled the room, and the Canid soldiers staggered, their enhancements failing. The prototype worked, the reversal complete. We had done it. As the dust settled, I looked around at my team. We were battered and bruised, but we had won. The Canid's grip on our world was loosening, and for the first time I felt the true possibility of freedom. Liam approached, his expression a mix of relief and determination. I'm with you, he said simply. I nodded, a sense of camaraderie washing over me. Welcome to the Resistance. The battle was far from over, but we had taken a significant step towards reclaiming our world. Together we would continue to fight, to resist, and to build a future where humanity could thrive once more. The betrayal came like a knife to the heart, unexpected and devastating. Liam, caught in the conflict between loyalty to the Resistance and the allure of his enhanced abilities, sought what he believed was a peaceful resolution. I understood his struggle, but I could never have predicted the outcome. Liam had gone to Baxter, hoping to broker a truce. He had revealed our plans, our hideouts, all in a misguided attempt to end the bloodshed. Baxter, ever the tactician, seized the opportunity. The Canid leader launched a coordinated assault on our main bunker, catching us off guard. The ambush was brutal. The sounds of battle echoed through the tunnels. Shouts, explosions, the whirring of Canid drones. We fought back with everything we had, but we were outmatched. One by one, Resistance members fell or were captured. My heart pounded as I tried to rally our forces, but it was no use. The Canid overwhelmed us. I was dragged from the wreckage, my hands bound, and thrown into a holding cell within the Canid dome. The sterile, cold environment was a stark contrast to the warmth and camaraderie of our bunker. They brought me before Baxter, his eyes betraying no emotion as he prepared for my interrogation. Mira Stone, he said, his voice smooth and controlled. You've been quite the thorn in our side. Your side is oppression, I spat, defiance burning in my veins. You've taken everything from us. Baxter raised an eyebrow, unfazed. We've given humanity a chance to evolve, to transcend its limitations. You resist out of fear, not understanding. The interrogation that followed was harsh. Baxter questioned me relentlessly, seeking information about our operations, our allies, our plans. But I held firm, refusing to betray any more than Liam already had. As the hours dragged on, I turned the conversation. These enhancements you're so proud of, I said, my voice hoarse. They come at a cost. You're not making us better. You're breaking us. Baxter frowned. Explain. I seized the opportunity, laying bare the psychological and physical toll the enhancements took on humans. You strip away our free will, our individuality. You reduce us to mere tools, pawns in your vision of progress. But we're not machines. We have souls, emotions, dreams. Baxter listened, his expression inscrutable. But I saw a flicker of doubt in his eyes, a crack in his certainty. You believe these sacrifices are too great? They are, I insisted. You can't force evolution. It has to come naturally, from within. What you're doing is wrong, and deep down, you know it. The seed of doubt had been planted. Whether it would grow was uncertain, but it was a start. The interrogation ended, and I was returned to my cell, my body aching but my spirit unbroken. Days passed, each one blending into the next. I clung to the hope that the resistance would find a way to rescue us, but the wait was agonizing. Then, one night, the cell door creaked open. Liam stood there, his face a mask of determination and guilt. "Mira," he whispered, "I'm getting you out of here." I stared at him, a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside me. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I made a mistake," he said, his voice raw. "I thought I could find a peaceful solution, but I was wrong. I need to make this right." He led me through the labyrinthine corridors of the dome, moving with the stealth of someone who knew the terrain intimately. We met up with other disillusioned humans and sympathetic Canid, all united by a common goal: to free the captives and dismantle Baxter's regime. Our infiltration plan hinged on our knowledge of Canid technology. We moved quickly, disabling defenses and avoiding patrols. The closer we got to the central control room, the higher the stakes felt. As we reached the heart of the dome, the final showdown began. The air was thick with tension as resistance fighters and Canid clashed in a desperate battle for control.